Should be fine.
Is meeting procedures, and as requested by the board, I will now read the protocol for all committee member meetings in Sun City West. The governing board conducts all of its meeting, including committee meetings, in compliance with Arizona open meeting laws per ARS 33-1804 and in concert with RCSCW bylaws, policies, and standing rules. Parliamentary procedures as outlined in the most recent edition of Robert's Rules of Order will also be followed consistent with bylaw 3.07. Procedures for owner-member meetings and standing rules 2 and 3. All questions and comments are directed to the committee chairperson. All comments are entertained at the discretion of the committee chairperson. Speakers shall state their name and member number and speak in a courteous manner. The committee chairperson may limit commentary time and the number of times a commenter or speaker may speak on any issue. The committee chairperson also may redirect commentary at individual agenda items to the general guest comments agenda line, which we have at the end of the meeting, except when the committee has discussed the agenda items and consensus or agreement is sought. All fire and room safety precautions and regulations are strictly obeyed at all meetings for the guidance of Arizona Fire and Medical Authority. The committee chairperson reserves the right to adjourn any meeting if the safety of the committee, meeting attendees, or others is deemed at risk, or if there's too much disruption to continue. After one verbal warning by the chairperson, the committee chairperson also reserves the right to ask any meeting attendees to leave any meeting should their behavior be deemed dangerous or unacceptable, and disciplinary action may follow.
Could you do
So
that again in
that's-
Spanish?
See? Agenda item 2.0, line 2.01, minutes from November 1st. The minutes were posted online and emailed to our committee members. Do we have consensus to accept these minutes? The minutes are accepted and will be filed as distributed. One thing I would like to point out at this time is we may be having some problems with our live feed. And so the meeting may be a bit delayed being posted online. Agenda item 3.0, new business. Line 3.01, new committee member. I would like to welcome our newest committee member, Steve Murray, to our committee. And Steve, thank you for volunteering. Line item 3.02, petitioning and petitioner packets. The petitioning phase of our election process has now been open for a little over a month. However, it's important to note that folks can still continue to pick up packets between now and the deadline of January 2nd, but just be aware that you need to have time to collect your signatures before the January 2nd deadline. But there's still plenty of time right now, and we certainly encourage folks to pick them up. Just as a note, as owner members of Sun City West, you may encounter people asking you to sign a petition as they are interested in becoming a candidate for the board. I want to stress that signing a petition does not mean that you necessarily support that person as a candidate. It just means that you are sanctioning their right to run for the board. And we do want candidates. So I encourage you to please sign these petitions if you're asked. Petitioners, we encourage you to submit your signatures and biographies as soon as possible. And that way, if you have any issues, you'll have a chance to have them corrected before the deadline. And once your requirements are validated, you will be notified. So if you turn in your signatures and biographies early, you'll receive your confirmation early, although campaigning won't start till after candidate training. Also, petitioners, when you picked up your packet, you received a copy of Policy L13, which is the authorized use of association common areas for association-specific political activity. Please review this carefully, as it states where petitioning can and cannot occur. If a location is not called out in L13, then it is off limits. It also clearly states where petitioning cannot occur. For example, petitioning cannot occur inside any Sun City West building, and this includes areas such as golf pro shops, or if you had an imaginary roof over pools or other outdoor activities. So I also encourage you to read Policy L13, because if you are elected to the board, you will need to get into the habit of reading policy. So just consider this as practice. Meanwhile, we have been absolutely thrilled at the number of people that have picked up petitioner packets. I'm not going to tell you how many, simply because we don't know who will be officially named as candidates until the validation is complete. However, I can say with pretty much certainty that we will have a real election this year, which I think is fantastic. It is wonderful to see the people in Sun City West stepping forward.
Just as a quick note, just because you heard Luann say that we have some packets out, please don't let that stop you if you have an interest in running. We need all the candidates we can get so that we can have a broad spectrum of board members.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leslie. Does anyone else have any comments on the petitioner packets? Yes, Katie.
Just another reminder, only owner members may sign petitions. Associates and tenants cannot sign the petitions.
Correct. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you. Moving on to line item 3.03, update on key dates. We have updated a few key dates from our previous release. For petitioners, you may note that the videotaping of the candidate stump speeches will be held on Tuesday, January 14th and Wednesday, January 15th. We'll let you know the times on this and how to contact Martin to set up an appointment. And this is important if you want to get your PR out for being online. So we'll send that information. Also, regarding voting for our owner members, the deadline to register for online voting and homebound voting, that will open at the start of January. However, the deadline has been moved up to Monday, March 17th. That's St. Patty's Day. So do it before you go out to the party. And we're moving it up to the 17th because we're going to extend the online voting via email to 7 days. Previously, it's been for 4 days. So online voting will now start on Thursday, January 20th. And I think the nice thing about this, March. Thank you, Katie. March 20th. But the nice thing about this is it will span over 2 separate weeks. And I think this will suit people who maybe be interested in early voting, say they're on a cruise or something. It'll be 2 separate weeks, and I think it'll give folks more of an opportunity. And we sincerely want to encourage online voting. So I think that's a great thing. Item 3.04, were there any comments on that?
I just want our people to remember, here in Sun City West, it's 1 vote per email. So if you're in a household with 2 people and 1 email, you need to get a second email. And then let the office know that you have that email so that you get your voting rights.
Just to piggyback on that, you can vote in person. So there are some people that don't have email, don't want email, then you vote in person on election day. But for those that want to vote online, you're absolutely correct.
Moving on to line item 3.04, training and candidate packets. Regarding training, it's mandatory for our candidates to attend training, and that will be held on January 8th from 1:30 to 3:30. And I mention that so that if you're viewing this meeting, that you can mark your calendars. That is an important date. Also, this year, something new, candidates may have 2 of their helpers attend the training. And we think this will be a great plus because the helpers must also comply with the guidelines. And therefore, they have an opportunity to hear it in person and ask questions. Regarding the candidate packet, as we approach the official announcement of candidates, we, of course, will be updating our candidate packet, and this will include the new key dates and also to ensure compliances with some changes that were in L13. So we do need to review the candidate packet, and I'm happy to do the initial updates with the dates in L13, and then I'll send it out to the committee just for y'all to review, look at, and send back any of your comments. We just want to make sure we have sufficient time for Karen to comfortably print them in time for training or in time for candidate pickup. So I'll probably do that. I will do that before Christmas, and hopefully we can get that going. I will be off grid again until Christmas, but if there's any issues, I'm sure Leslie can handle it. Grin. Any questions on the training packet? Candidate packet?
For all you guys out there watching, all 3 of you, this is Luann Kent. She's a co-chair. She hasn't been here for a while, and yes, that's really her accent.
Agenda item 3.05, upcoming PR. January, can you believe January is just around the corner? Unbelievable. And that's when we really kick off our PR. As I mentioned, sign up for online voting will open the beginning of January, and Katie has already planned PR detailing how folks can sign up in the sign up, and that will appear in the January Rec Center News. So please be aware of that. And we do encourage people to vote online. It's a super easy way to vote. Last year, we did have lines of people waiting to vote in at the data center. Katie, do you remember how many folks we had?
Way more than usual because of the referendum. It was probably pushing 1,000.
I think it was.
Very steady, yes.
Yeah, so folks had to stand outside in line. So if you don't like standing outside in line, I suggest you sign up for online voting. It really is an easy way to do things. And Ron, as many of y'all know, Ron is associated with our Sun City West radio station, KSCW. And Ron, I think it would be a great idea if we can get together and maybe come up with ways to have a spot on the radio to.
We talked about that earlier before the meeting started, and yes, we'll definitely get a coordination between you, probably Katie and myself, and we'll get one of the rec center show spots totally dedicated to the election procedure well in advance, and maybe do a follow-up program a couple of weeks before the election, just as another reminder. And just, so we get everybody understanding what they need to do, and just go into the little details that you guys have that can be beneficial.
And Ron, I'll leave it up to you. I'll put your name down as responsibility for harassing us and make sure we do it when you want us to do it.
Well, the beauty of this is that it's a recorded show, so I can stop and just belittle you to death and then start over again when we're all friends again.
Okay, thank you. But I do think, I would like for us to have some radio.
I think it's a good
Spots.
idea. I think it's a good idea. I also think we should get together and develop at least one public service announcement that can be broadcast over the course of the time between, say, January and the election. So there is a regular reminder, if not daily, maybe every other day or something like that, on the station, just talking about the election with the dates and all the pertinent information. And I'd be happy to work with you guys in terms of writing it and get it voiced.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ron. Also, for our potential candidates, photos are scheduled to be taken on Wednesday, January the 8th, and I highlight this because the photos need to be taken by that date if they are to appear in the February Rec Center News. Katie, if someone isn't available on that date, they could probably work through you to get a.
Yeah, we just have to have them done before then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be a blank box probably. So, and in worst case scenario, they could submit one, but we do like to have them all taken by our staff because they look the same. Yeah.
Yeah, so keep that date in mind, that you need it by January 8th so that you can appear in the news and folks will know who you are. And of course, that we'll have other PR concerning the election timeline, the open forum, and the meet and greet. I absolutely enjoy the open forum. It's a fabulous way for us to get to know our candidates. And of course, the meet and greet too, but I particularly enjoy the open forum. Committee, do you have any other thoughts on PR? No? Well, all I can say is I certainly encourage everyone on the committee and anybody else who would like to encourage folks to sign up for online voting, to encourage folks to vote, period. But update on key dates. We have updated a few key dates from our previous release. For petitioners. Okay, I'm going to continue. I think we have some, they're still working on their live feed, so I will continue. We're already to agenda item 4.0, comments. Committee, do you have any comments in general? Questions? Actions to be taken?
I would just like to remind people that are applying to please read the regulations L13, please, so that we don't get phone calls or someone comes in and says someone was violating that policy before we've even started. So please, please do diligence and read that policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. And do we have any guest comments? Do we have any comments from the floor? You're welcome to ask anything or tell us what a great job we've done.